Pouncy House. We pounce and then we bounce. Hey guys, Pouncy here. Get your ears ready to rumble! Pouncy House. We pounce and then we bounce.
Hey guys, how are you? Pouncy here. It's a little late and I'm doing paperwork and I came across well, I'm actually writing a book. Let me first tell you that. The book is on Boo and Me, and I know you're not surprised. You're like, oh, I'm not surprised at that shit. Yeah, it's more about not just Wilbur and me. It's about the experiences I've gone through, especially this past year, which leads me to what this Pouncy House video is about. We've traveled a lot this year. I think last year, this time we were in we were in LA last time this year. But then we went to Santa Fe. And just explaining, you know, Santa Fe, there's Arizona before Santa Fe and all that good stuff. Albuquerque, blah, blah, blah. And then we came back and we went, because I was kind of looking at Santa Fe to possibly move there. And then came back in Northern California, checked it out some other areas I haven't been to. And then we went to Canada, and then we went to Oregon and Washington. So we've traveled a lot, and the reason why I'm saying all this is because I think I have a right to, you know, I was going to do a Pouncy House video on this anyway, but it wasn't first priority. So this woman on the news today, they have this woman who was going through McDonald's, and she got her food in the drive-thru and then apparently didn't get ketchup. I'm going to say she didn't get ketchup. They say she didn't get enough. I don't think so. I think she didn't get ketchup. And she went in, maybe they gave her one packet, but anyway, she went in and went crazy on the manager. And I'm sure she didn't go crazy on the manager. I'm sure that if we looked at footage, it was more like, you know, the blah blah didn't put enough ketchup in there, didn't put ketchup in and then you had someone who was more like lackadaisical about it. We know that. We've all dealt with that. And then possibly led her to, you know, being physical, which there's really zero reason for that one. However, people are pushed to shit and they go crazy and they justify that type of behavior, which I don't justify, but I'm explaining the side that a lot of people are not explaining because the news is just focusing on, oh, the cops are after her and all this other stuff, or, you know, allegedly hitting and doing whatever. So this is on condiments. So in my travels, and also prior to my travels, even my meetings and things like that, people come in and they have their fast food, or you're talking to someone and they're like, hey, I don't have any ketchup in the bag. This is like a buildup, and you're just like, oh, that sucks. And then they're like, you know, oh, and they're trying to get it from someone in the kitchen, in the office, and this and that. And this has been going on for like maybe almost a year and a half. And then on my travels, I noticed that when we stopped to get something, like French fries or something, I'd noticed that there was no straw in the bag, there was no ketchup, or ranch or whatever. Nobody asked you if you wanted anything. They just, you know, have you take off and then you don't have anything. Well, the point is that everybody knows, usually most of the people use ketchup with fries, but whatever. And I've started to see that this was a pattern, that this was like, whether you were going through any one of the fast food chains, they would not put it in the bag. And I said to the gentleman one point, were you told not to give condiments to the customers? And he was like, huh? And I'm like, were you told, like corporate, did they explain that this is a new protocol? And he was like, huh? And I was like, no, just take care of what you need to do, man. Just like fucking forget it. Because when you got to explain something like 2 or 3 times to someone, you just are like, maybe you need to sniff some oxygen. So at that point, I just kind of think that there's 2 sides to this. I'm not saying that she's right in her behavior, but I also think that there's people out there that some people watching this might say, hey, you know what? That's right. I don't even get condiments in my bag anymore. I don't know what's going on with that. That's because they're trying to save money. And they're saving money by saying, hey, don't give a condiment out unless they ask for it. So when you go through a drive-thru, which kind of is messed up, because when you're going through a drive-thru, they should just give them to you, no problem. If you're inside the restaurant and they want to have that policy where it's sitting out and they can grab it, that's different. But if you're going through a drive-through, that should be mandatory. But I'm telling you, I've been through enough over the past year that I've noticed that there's been an epidemic of this not happening. So I kind of thought there has to be some kind of structure put into place. Like, don't give them condiments unless they ask for them. And that's even, like, some of them wouldn't even give napkins. You wouldn't see even a napkin in there or a straw. So, and this is the way they save money, you know? It's like, so I'm assuming that this woman just had it happen one too many times, and she's just like, you know what, I've just about had it. That's my opinion. So, don't know if it's true or not because I wasn't there, but I know that they brought it up on the news, and I'm like, typical of the news. Obviously, they're only reporting one side and saying, oh, the police is after her. You know, if anybody sees her, it's not like a major crime, but, I was like, huh. And I was like, she's probably just pissed off that, here's another thing of customer service where you're getting bad service, and then most people don't know how to be, I hate to say this, but most people have a difficult time with their anger. You know what I mean? And I can't really judge that because at one point when I went into a vet's office with Wilbur, it was an emergency room, and the girl, literally this is in the book, I hand Wilbur to her. Wilbur's in a seizure, convulsion, shaking. And I'm fit to be tied because this is like my son. This is my life, and I want them to save his life. Okay, boo. I'll be right there, honey bunny. And guess what? She had the nerve to say, I said, can I go back there with you? I know that's not your policy, but he has severe separation anxiety, and I know that this is going to make it worse for him, and I don't want anything to happen to him. She says, I'm sorry, but that's our policy. You can't come in the back. But I can tell you that if he winds up, going into any type of like seizure mode where he's going to pass, I'll come out and get you. I was like, did you just tell me that if my dog's going to pass, that's when you're going to come out and get me? When he's at the point of that? She says to me, hands him back almost, and says, well, if you like, you can go somewhere else. This is while he's still convulsion in her arms. That's one of the many. Literally there, this is not about a condiment. I wanted to put my hands around her throat. So let me tell you something. There's a lot of people out there that push people. Because I have pretty good patience. Some people might laugh, but I have pretty good patience. But if you see me with Boo and how he acts, I don't have patience for blatant ignorance. Blatant ignorance. And that doesn't mean I'd ever hit anybody, but I definitely will put you in your place. So anyway, on that note, I was just talking about the condiments. I kind of think it was an interesting concept of what took place because I've never heard of anything like that before. And I thought, you know what? I've been thinking about doing a Pouncy House video on condiments with fast food chains and how they're not giving them and how other people have complained to me about it just in conversation. And now all of a sudden there's someone on the news about it that flipped a lid on it. So next time you go through a fast food restaurant, pay attention to whether they give you your condiments. And if they don't, you either A, want to talk to the manager, or B, you want to write into the corporation and say, hey, get your shit together and make sure that, condiments are in the bag when you're going through a drive-through, because people get fast food for a reason, to eat it fast so they can move on to their next, whatever they're doing, road trips, whatever it is. So anyway, Pouncy's out. Peace.
Pouncy House. We pounce and then we bounce.
Coming soon to a city near you.